One man, one house. It's an arrangement that's costing Minnesota taxpayers nearly $1 million a year.
And it turns out there are other cases just like it. So what's going on? Here's Fox 9 investigator Jeff Ballion to explain.
Still got 5 cars there today.
Everyone in this Coon Rapids neighborhood is keeping close tabs on that blue house.
First thing, we had a huge fence go up.
It was in rough shape after going into foreclosure a few years back.
Kind of had become an eyesore.
Then a buyer came along and made lots of improvements. Shatterproof windows, a remodeled kitchen, even a sauna. But the new owner didn't move in. Instead, he rented the place out for the next 5 years to the state of Minnesota.
Neighbors are asking us, what is going on to the house next door to you? Who's living there that there's so many cars?
Just one person lives in this 3-bedroom home. The cars belong to state employees. They come and go round the clock, at least 3 per shift, all hired to support the needs of the lone occupant.
They really don't need a house this size for one person.
They're doing this, we discovered, at a cost to taxpayers that's approaching $1 million a year.
You can't cost justify it. It's just ridiculous.
An 18-year-old man whose initials are W.O. was placed in the home last summer. W.O. is a ward of the state. He has some intellectual and developmental disabilities and a history of difficult behavior.
Handled the right way, it's a good thing for a neighborhood because we need to see people of all abilities.
But since last July, at least 45 calls to police have come from this address.
And there's neighbors that don't feel safe walking down the street.
In one incident, an employee reported W.O. was becoming violent, destroying property. Staff had locked themselves inside an office. A few days later, another worker called 911 to alert police that W.O. had kicked open the secured front door and tried to run away.
He was screaming and yelling at them and smashed the lights above the garage doors and telling them he was going to kill them.
Bob Cran says this happened as he was playing with his granddaughter in his front yard.
And he took a swing at one of the guys and then they took him down. And the next thing I know, we had 2 or 3 squad cars, a fire truck, and an ambulance there.
In October, police were called again because staff reported W.O. was armed with a broken piece of glass, was destroying the house, and out of control.
We've got like a ticking time bomb over there and just wondering when it's going to explode.
The risk of violent behavior is why at least 3 people are with W.O. every hour of the day and night. We added up the payroll. It comes to about $910,000 a year.
So that sounds like an awful lot of money to watch one individual. How can you justify that?
Well, it's definitely a lot of money. I would say that our obligations are to ensure that we're giving people with disabilities an opportunity to live in the community, to meet the court and legal requirements that we have to do that, and all the time be balancing that with our role as being a good steward of taxpayer dollars.
In the past, people like W.O. were warehoused in large institutions. It was more cost-effective, but a horrible way to live. Drugs, mechanical restraints, and other harsh techniques were used to keep them under control. A lawsuit against the state put an end to that kind of treatment. Minnesota moved away from using large institutions in favor of smaller, community-based group homes.
I think there's clear and convincing evidence from the research that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities do have better lives when they're living in the communities.
Many of Minnesota's group homes are privately operated, but the Department of Human Services is still in the business of running 119 of them. Currently, 396 people live in those state-operated homes. According to DHS, the yearly cost is $83 million, or about $210,000 on average per individual. But the Fox 9 investigators discovered 7 of those properties have just 1 person in them. They have, says DHS, very complex needs.
Our hope is that we can stabilize that individual to a point where we can get them into a more cost-effective setting.
The average annual cost to staff each of those 7 houses is $885,000. According to researchers at the U of M, that's triple the average of what some other states are spending. But they say those states are still using much larger, less desirable facilities.
It's a very big and very complicated program.
Minnesota's legislative auditor is now investigating and will update lawmakers on his findings later this month.
I'd rather wait until our report is out, but there are very expensive cases. In our analysis, we've isolated those and tried to find out what's behind those high costs.
The highest costs typically coincide with the most challenging cases, like WO.
When is he going to get loose and hurt somebody?
WO's neighbors are frustrated and on edge.
My issue isn't with the person with disabilities, it's with the impact the employees and all the support system that has come into the neighborhood.
It's the annoying sound of staff warming up their cars in the middle of the night. It's all of the 911 calls and the cost, $900,000 a year plus.
That is absolutely outrageous.
But most of all, it's a sense that complaining to the state does no good.
They listened to our concerns and pretty much said there's nothing we can do.
For its part, DHS says it's working on being a good neighbor, trying to mitigate the number of 911 calls. If the disruptions continue, the department does have the option to move WO to another location, but that would be a last resort.
I think your graphic showed almost 300 of these homes, but we're talking about 7 with these extraordinarily high costs.
Yeah, it's 119 homes, but you're right.
Okay,
7.
119, but only 7 with the high costs. What about the future for a program like this? And does it keep growing like this?
Well, the deputy commissioner told me that they're seeing more of these complex cases. And then when you couple that with the fact that there's a tremendous shortage of qualified staff to work with these individuals, this is an issue that's not going to go away anytime soon, and it's very costly.
Yeah. For those neighbors, what about concerns about the real estate value?
Well, they are concerned about it. A lot of retired people live in that neighborhood, and they're worried about, well, what if I want to sell and this is going on? How's that going to affect our property values?
All right.
Interesting to see the audit. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jeff.